Morning folks, a slightly different style of video today. That's a lie, completely different style of video today. It's not the exploring biker, it's the exploring kayaker. Let's get all the gear out and I'll explain. We're currently in Preston and I'm going to be kayaking down the Lancaster Canal today and tomorrow while camping overnight using my inflatable kayak. Unfortunately, the water you see in the background isn't the one we're going to. Morning! This is the Tewitfield high pressure kayak from Decathlon. Had it a couple of years now, done a few trips on it. Brilliant bit of kit, but heavy as hell when you've got all the other gear with it. Tent, camping gear, other bits, cameras, all that kind of good stuff. All of this is going to go on the trolley. I'm going to carry that one. Let's bungee this to an inch of its life. Yeah, so even though we're in Preston, we've got to get to the start of it. I think it's pronounced Tewitfield Marina, but it means the first part of the journey was driving up to Preston. Then we've got to get a train from Preston up to Carnforth. That's in 1 hour's time. Plenty of time to get to it. And then we've got 4 miles at the other end. That's a result. Yeah, we've got 4 miles at the other end where I'm hoping I'm going to be able to get a taxi, because if not, I don't fancy dragging that for 4 miles. Or I could get in the kayak, go the wrong way up the canal to the start point, to then come back down. But that just seems like dead miles. But we'll see. Let's not forget my trendy little bum bag. Nice. Yeah. Right then, let's go. So the bus timetable on the actual bus stop is different to Google, and reckons there isn't one, so we're Ubering it. We're about to head over the canal that we'll be coming back on. Here it is.
You will shortly be arriving at Carnforth.
So we made it to Carnforth. Now just got to wait 15 minutes to get a taxi to the marina. As unfortunately, even though there's a bus station right over there, no buses go that way. We've made it to the start. Let's get set up. Steepest towpath entrance ever. All right, mate. All right. Well, that bench looks like a good place to start. Right then, folks. We're here. Let's get set up. A little bit of rain falling. That's pretty much how it's going to be for the first couple of hours this morning, I think. And then it should clear. Make sure we connect it on the inflate side. Morning. Let's get a little shot so you can see what I'm connecting to. Okay, inside the boat here are these little valves, and you've got to make sure that's in and that's out. You need it out when connecting. Okay, twist, and we're in. Whew, halfway there. The ducks have come to say hello. Oh, really? Noisy so-and-so. She doesn't look happy with me. First priority, get tonight's beers in at the bottom of the boat so they get cooled by the water. The seat goes in and then the beers can tuck in behind the seat. The tent goes in right up the front there. Move the seats up there as well. Tonight's food. Morning. Now let's get the feet in. The lesson is to get the stuff you need up the front in before you put your foot pegs in. Otherwise they just get in the way. Clothes for camp later. Waterproof in case it starts raining. So we want those accessible. Okay, this yellow bag is the deck bag. It sits on the front here. And you put in here the stuff that you're going to want to be able to get hold of kind of easily. And it's also where I mount the 360 camera. We've had a quick change of clothes. Now we've got to get these back bits on. You've probably been wondering where this goes. It just lies flat here. This sits on top and then we bungee. Oh, I've gone for the YouTuber mic on the cap thing. Yeah, I had to put it on the cap for now because I had nowhere else to pin it. There's too much up in the collar there. But once I've got this on, then we've got a nice spot right there. Perfect. We're getting close to actually getting in some water. Let's check the best spot on something with a good side to butt up against. Not here, maybe down here. Yeah, I think down here is the better side. Ooh, don't fall in, Liam. Yeah, I think that's it. Can't forget my super trendy bum bag. This makes a bit more sense now. When you sat in the kayak, you've got pockets in front of you now. You can put all stuff in there. A lot easier, a lot handier. Attach the paddle. Okay, we just got to get to it. Oh, she's a heavy. We're just pulling across grass and mud here, so it's okay. Now we get to find out, with all this gear on, will she float? Morning. How's the wind? It's all right. It was dead gusty when it first turned up. I was a bit, but it's calmed down. Lovely. Oh, she floats. Let's bring her around this way and walk her up the canal a bit. So we get a spot where we can get in. About that, looks good. That's it. First time getting in is always the most nerve-wracking one. And we're off. So we are in the water. And what I've done is, from where I started off, I've just come back up a little bit to the actual start of the canal. And that noise you can hear is the M6 motorway on the other side of that fence. And that's why this is the start of the Lancaster Canal, because there was a set of locks from here that carried on up to Kendal. But when they built the M6, they severed the canal. So we're going to be heading off down that way, all the way to Preston over the next 2 days. Let's go. Nosy right up at the very end. I don't know, we should set up there. That would have made more sense. But I didn't know if you could actually get into the marina without being a member. Here we are. There would have been a lock here. I'll put a little shot on Google Maps so you can see where the locks are. Right next to the motorway. Thankfully, we'll be getting away from this noise. Let's start the watch. Let's go.
Should have done with you, he's got me falling tonight. Shoes and socks off.
Oh, sorry. I wasn't quick enough.
Yeah.
There's the marina. There's the spot where we set up. And here's our first bridge, number 138. Morning. Morning.
Morning.
This dog up ahead isn't happy with me. Hello, how are you? I promise I'm not a giant duck. Alright.
She's not going in swimming.
It's a proper bridge, that. Not that the stone ones aren't. Morning. Morning. Oh, we've got an aqueduct. Kayak aqueduct. Single span aqueduct, 42 feet long, carrying the canal 35 feet above the River Kayak. John Rennie. I'll get a load of them along here. Good morning. Stay up there, you. Good morning.
Is that inflatable?
It is. Oh, let me stop.
I like that. I like that about betting for the one.
There is. This is from Decathlon,
That's what, yeah.
and there's a two-seater version of this. It's inflatable. It goes down into a rucksack.
Have a sack.
Yeah, it's massive though. It is a big thing. I've just come up. I'm going back to. I'm doing Preston over the next 2 days, so I got the train from Preston up this way with all my gear. Yeah. But I use a trolley because it is really heavy once you've got everything with you.
We're gonna buy one. We're gonna buy one.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah, they're brilliant. It takes, once you're used to it, it's 10 minutes to set up. That's it.
You just climb out into the water.
You want to find a spot where the drop isn't too. You want it to be only a couple of inches, like the top of this from the top of what you're getting in from.
Can you find plenty of those?
Yeah, you get loads of them.
Loads along the canal.
Yeah, especially near bridges. Near bridges is normally pretty good because it's normally brick as well, isn't
You
it?
usually get them really good specs when you come to a pub.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So how long does it take you? Will it take you to go to Preston?
It's gonna take 2 days, so I'm gonna camp on the towpath somewhere tonight. I've got a pub to aim for in Lancaster for lunch.
Oh, fantastic!
Then camp, and then another pub for lunch tomorrow, and then Preston and drive home.
Wow,
So your car's in Preston?
I live near Chester,
Right, okay.
so I just drove up, and then I get myself to the far end, and then come back to where my car is.
It's a lovely canal, isn't it?
It's no locks. No locks at all for 42 miles. It's
Unbelievable.
unbelievable. Yeah, it's madness. They literally just followed as best they could.
I've been on the Liverpool Leeds Canal and it's locked.
Oh, it's long as it's 200 miles. That it's on the list, but it'll take a couple of weekends. That will do.
Nice to meet you.
And you, no problem. What a lovely puppy. Got to pace. All right, quick update. About just over 3 kilometres in so far. It's lovely. I was a bit worried about being a little bit cold today, but it's absolutely perfect. And if anything, the sun's threatening to come out and I might have to put sunglasses on. Wasn't expecting that today. I thought that was definitely a tomorrow thing. Met some nice people along the canal so far. Some great dogs, obviously. And now we're just in the absolute peace and quiet until I get to the M6, which I've got to go under. But that's a nice 5 kilometre marker really, so I'll be glad to see it as well. Okay, well, catch you in a bit. Morning. Any luck?
Got about 5 or 6 days and I've missed them all.
Ah. Oh, hello, little one. Okay, we're 4.5 kilometres in. And we're coming up to pass underneath the M6. I've had a nice little tailwind through that section, so made some nice time. But it pushes the boat left and right. Because funnily enough, it's not a nice flat surface for it to push. So the tail's twisting like that. Oh, there we go. The M6. Not as noisy as it could be, so. And that's the only time that we'll actually pass under it. We get near to it again a couple of times. But from now on, we stay on the west side of it. More dogs. Morning. Oh, I thought that boat might actually be moving, but it's not. It's moored up, stove on. Haven't seen a single boat moving yet. Lovely day though. Let's just get away from this noise. 5 kilometres, 58 minutes. Thought I'd average about 5 kilometres an hour, so I'm quite happy with that. That looks new. Sounded nice. Right. Hello. So how are you? Not interested at all. Someone's got lunch over there. The canal to... Oh, we've got a swan. That's all we want. Okay, we've got a swan in the water. We've got a swan on a nest. So I'm going to go right over this side, out the way. Coming over for a nosy. Alright fella, I'm staying over here, don't worry. You're doing your job well. Go on. Go on, would you? You're doing a good job. Oh. Didn't really want to start a fight with you there, mate. Fair play. We've done it now. I'm past. Good job. Always worrying. He's still there. I can hear him still. He's going to score me out of the area. Still there. Hopefully he'll pick up this cyclist now. Alright.
Looks after you, that.
I know, yeah, he don't like me. We going up? No, he's still good. Right, let's put some pace in to get out of his eye line. I think he might be giving up. That's it. We're broke line of sight now, so I think he'll give up the chase.
Afternoon.
Afternoon.
Good. I know.
Hiya. One, two, three. Oh. Afternoon. Oh, it's lovely. Hi there. Afternoon. It's the first other thing I've seen moving on the on the canal all day. Really quiet. We are finally going to have to get out. Okay. Look back in your legs. Probably should have filmed that, but I just came around this corner here. Even though this is the longest run in the UK with no locks, there is a swing bridge, and I didn't bring my portage wheels. So I had to get it up onto the side here, shimmy it across to the grass here, drag it along this grass, swing it over the stones over there, because I didn't want to put holes in the bottom. Yeah, so I didn't want to drag it through the stones. So I had to put like the one end of it there and then spin it around on the grass over to that one and spin it over to there, and we're here now. Like I say, I should have filmed it, but I was a bit perplexed because I wasn't expecting to see that. Let's get back in the water. And we're in. And we're away from the swing bridge. That's my research that let me down there. Oh well, we're already a third of the way along the journey. Been going for 2.5 hours, 11.5 kilometres in for today. Camp spot's at about 33, 34 kilometres. Like I say, we're a third in. We're coming up to Lancaster soon, where I'm hoping to get the drone up in the air to go across the Lune Aqueduct and get a nice shot of that. All right, better get back to some pace. Afternoon. The first boat I've seen moving. Hi there. All right there. Right. Okay, we're at Hest Bank right now, which on the map is the closest point we get to the coast. And that bike up front in the trailer is two little dogs. Finally seen a canal boat actually moving. Where are we? 12, 13 miles. It's the first time a boat's been moving. Oh, there we go. Here come the dogs. All right. Right. Textbook passing that. And slowed back down to an idle, so he's not churning it up too much. You can still see them here on the water swirling where the propellers have been. We've got another one in the distance. Was that going the same way as me? We got another swan. Get away, sunshine. My second one today. This one's slightly less aggressive than the last one. Flipping heck. Yeah, he's leaving me alone. Thank God. Oh, not again. He's chasing me. Not happy. Slowly been catching this boat up over the last couple of kilometres. We've still got just over 1 kilometre to go until the Lune Aqueduct. I'm hoping I don't quite catch him in time. Oh, is he going backwards? Or is he going to get out somebody else's way? Could be chaos. What the? Oh my God, what is going on here? Looks like somebody just turned the wrong way and is now just across the entire canal. Oh my God. Well, we're definitely going to catch them up. They got to stick out. They got to stick out to get past. A little bit of excitement for the day. Still got 1 kilometre to the aqueduct. But if I pass them, then I'm just going to be stopping in front of them. So I might as well hang back. I have just passed 16 kilometres for the day, which means I'm officially over the halfway point. 3 hours, 20 minutes. So we've got the aqueduct to do and get into Lancaster. Find somewhere for a bit of lunch and then crack on. It's just after 2, half 2. So won't be getting to camp until 6:30, 7 probably by the time I've faffed around. But that's all right. Good afternoon. Hello. I'm going across. Wish me luck. See ya. Okay. This is the Lune Aqueduct. Over 200 metres long, 16 metres above the river below, which is about 60 foot. So 600 foot long, 60 foot high. Built in 1794. That's crazy. I'm going to turn my hat around quickly because it's going to get blown off. Designed by John Rennie. on with most of the aqueducts over here. Hi there. And to be honest, from my point of view, you wouldn't know how high you were. Pretty tough keeping her straight. The wind's picking up now. Right. And across the little aqueduct, and across the main road now. Nice. All right. I'll bridge you seen better days. Okay, you wouldn't know it right now, but we're in Lancaster. Pretty much in the town itself as well. All looks still pretty rural, but I'm expecting to just suddenly come around the corner and be like, pow! More people around, so you know you're in a town then, instead of using it as a shortcut through. All right. You didn't see what side? Has that swan got a nest?
Yeah.
Did you see one?
It's on the dry dock. On the left, shortly.
The nest is on the left. I'll stay on the right then. I've been chased by two already. Well, that lady was very helpful. I might be the most chill one so far, although he's probably still stalking me. All right. We're coming up to the first possible lunch spot. Oh, that side looks high. Oh, I don't like the look of that. Looks like we'll be going on to number 2. All right, folks. crosswind there. Nasty. Hello, how are we doing? Yeah, that's true. Is that a bin? Somebody thrown a bin in the canal. That's a bit mental.
That's all way.
Hello. That's a manoozy. She's high. Ooh. Right then, folks. That was lunch done. Now we just got 2.5 hours until we get to camp. Nice place, that one. The Water Witch in Lancaster. Nice food. Nice pint of Guinness. Ooh, a bit of wind whipping down here. And I've got to get back into a rhythm. Would have been very easy to sit there all afternoon. Right, let's get after it. Check out that boathouse. I think that's the first boathouse I've seen. Yeah. Impressive. Pretty sure I saw a swan disappear around the corner up ahead. What's that? Number 4? Number 5? Maybe April isn't the best time for the canals. Nesting. I'm going to stay off to the right, as per usual, because they're probably nesting on the left, away from the people. Right. Oh yeah, there he is. Where's your nest? Oh, we've got a boat as well. Which side you going to go? I'm definitely getting picked on now. Right there. I'm about to get picked on. Can't see a nest. Are we just chilling, mate? How you doing? Good boy. I'm no threat, I'm just gliding past. Good man. Well, might be the chillest one so far. I'm going to assume he doesn't have a mate, because I haven't seen one or a nest. That's a pretty high bridge. Yep. He was not bothered. Have we got a new bridge next to an old bridge? Or maybe, well, it could be a railway bridge, I suppose. Where are you aiming at, mate? Right. This section feels proper in the middle of nowhere. Maybe it's not. Maybe up over the side of these cuttings is houses and farms, but down here it feels like you're in the middle of nowhere. All the sides there are lined with wild garlic. Smells awesome. Not seen anyone for about 15 minutes since walking on the side. Oh, we got another bridge. Real nice. "91A, this must be an aqueduct." Is it a road or a river? Yeah. It's a road. The river wouldn't bend up quick enough. It's all one. The wind keeps trying to turn the back of my boat round. Looks like the cat's going to have an oozy. Hey. Alright, sheep. Got another aqueduct. We got another swan, and he's in battle mode already. There's your nest, mate. Pick a side, mate. Oh, we're chasing, we're chasing. Amelia Romana. He stayed back. Wide one. Yeah. Right, mate. H86. This is the spot to grab some water, I think. That area over there looks good. Looks high though. It's one end lower than the other. How far is it going over the bridge? Right here, folks, we've stopped at Calgate Waterside and Marina to get some water. This is a key that you can get off the canal and River Trust. Lets you get to the water supply. If it's not already on, it is already on. But sometimes you have to unlock it to get to it. That should do us. Screw it all the way in, leave the valve open, push the air out, then close it. There we go. There are 2 more water points, I think, after this, but it's always a gamble, isn't it? So if I get it now, I know I've definitely got it. And if there's any problems further up, it's not my problem. Okay then. That was Calgate Waterside and Marina. Managed to get some water. Couldn't use the toilets though, despite it saying in all of the guidebooks and everything that the toilets are available here. There's a key code lock on there, so it's for berth holders only apparently. Luckily didn't really need to go, but it would have been nice to have the option. What have we got now? 6.5 kilometers until the campsite. So just over an hour and 15 maybe. Hi there. Yeah, an hour and 15 away, so that'll put us up around 7 o'clock. Better crack on. Hello. A lot of riverboats here. Oh, something smells good. It might just be toast. Tamarind from Audlam. I've been down the locks at Audlam. Well, I walked past them. This is about 15. Oh, I got the junction here. We're going straight on, but this takes you down to the Glasden Basin. There's the Canal and River Trust workboat. We'll have a little nosy into it. It did say there's a water point around the corner here as well. So let's have a nosy. Is there? I don't see one. Oh, there's a lot of junk in here. And that is why we got the water from somewhere else. Okay. It's a fancy bridge. Feeling of being in a state. Like a country estate. And this one. There's one on the nest, so where's the other one? Oh, you'll come out from between the boats or something. Got it. Be waiting for the swan to jump out somewhere. Well, looks like we might have got away with that swan. Well, I'm about just under a mile away from the spot that I plan to camp at. It's 10 to 7. It's still quite nice out. Gone a little chilly, I suppose, but looks like a nice evening. So another 20 minutes, I'd say, and should be there. Okay, we're coming up to the spot I'm hoping to camp at. That side looks doable, but the other side here should be quite wide, quite flat. Anyway, looks pretty good. Might have a neighbour as well. I think that it does. Oh, someone already had a fire here. It looks pretty good. It's got a bench. There are the mod cons. I think this will do it. Right, let's get out. Water. I lost a little bit of it. Let's get you on the water. Somebody's already had a fire here. I've got a neighbour up there. I think this spot here might just work for the tent. Slight incline. I like having my head a little bit higher. Bench. I think we might do. Oh, we got somebody coming past.
Finish or just start? Finish. Shame really, it goes downhill just round there.
First things first. Got the hat on that my niece made me because it's the warmest thing known to man. And now I've stopped, it does feel quite cold. Hood up as well, keep that heat in. Let's get a tent built. Find a good spot. Yeah, that's going to be all right, that. Quite happy with that spot. Going off one Google Earth image. Feet this way. That ground sheet's not actually part of this tent. It'll work in like the little foyer bit. Good evening. Oh, not bad. Yourselves?
How long you got?
How long do we go? Yeah, good point. Right there. A few towpath rocks. I've got my little inflatable mattress, and I've got that self-inflating one that goes underneath as well. I've got the midgies floating around the top of the tent at the moment, so keeping the door shut as long as possible. Get to use my new little Flextail pump. Don't want that fully inflated because I've got another pillow. Good little thing. It's got a light on it as well. So a little tent light. Let's give that a test. Lovely. Well, here's my spot for the night, folks. Tucked away by our bridge. Looks like somebody's been here before, starting fire. So I've just got my water boiling away. I'm ready to have some bolognese. I've got a couple of cans. Place comes with a stool, fully furnished. And then in my tent, sleeping bag, 2 mats. Hopefully that'll be enough. We're good to go. Sat on my campsite bench. Cheers. What a day. What a view. Here's what my pasta bolognese looks like. You know what? It doesn't taste that bad. I've definitely had worse. I made up this spot though. Middle of nowhere. There's a very faint hum of the M6 somewhere over that way. Once my earplugs are in, I won't notice that at all. In case anybody's worried about the kayak disappearing overnight, I've got a bike cable looping through the front of it, then through my trolley. Comes into the tent. It's attached to these 2 bags and the pole. If anybody tries running off of it, I'm going to know about it. What a spot.